Hail Internet, it's Paul, it's Matt, the Dork Lords. We're here talking about The Mandalorian, Season 3, Episode 3, The Convert. The title referencing perhaps two characters in this episode, Bo-Katan being accepted by the Death Watch, finding a new family of Mandalorians, and Dr. Pershing being led astray by Elia Kane and falling afoul of the New Republic. We open where Episode 2 left off. Bo has rescued Mando. She asks if he saw anything alive in the living waters, a la, maybe, I don't know, a mythosaur. He didn't see anything, and she keeps the mythosaur to herself.
She does.
They are then attacked by TIE fighters as they attempt to leave the planet. We end with the armorer testing the water sample Mando provided, proving that he and Bo bathed in the living waters of Mandalore. Since Bo has conveniently not removed her helmet since, she is considered part of the group.
Yes.
And if the convert had just stayed on Mando and Bo-Katan, it would have been a very short episode. Recap done. But in between those scenes, we spend a fair amount of time on Coruscant. Now,
yes,
knowing your gripes with the season so far, I'm actually really interested to hear your thoughts on our New Republic interlude. So, Paul.
Yes?
What did you think of Episode 3?
I would give it a 7 out of 10.
All right. So, you're angling up. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I thought you might.
It was nice to be on an actual city. In an actual city. And, it was interesting, that stuff that happened there, And I think we imagined that it was going to take a lot longer for him to get back to them with his water. And I didn't even realize it was magic water. It's like, you can't just go to a toilet and pull out some water and give it to them.
It's living waters.
It's got to be the toilets on Mandalore. But it happened. And so that was, I'm glad that's done.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. In terms of, think about, his first quest that we get from Season 1 is essentially like, I have to take this child to its people, essentially, to a Jedi. And that took 2 seasons, right? It was the end of Season 2. It's like, here, Luke, great. Here, so his next quest is, because you took off your helmet, your next quest is you have to bathe in the waters of the Mines of Mandalore. 2 episodes. It took him it took him like an hour. All right. Hey, all right. So it's a little.
I mean, if the reason why we had those events occur is because they're positioning us for however the Mandalore are going to be brought back together, then okay, I mean, the unfortunate thing is, the one time that I would have really appreciated getting a look on Bo-Katan's face, we don't.
We don't. You're right. I was thinking it in the opening of this thing when they're on the ship together, and I was noticing, she hasn't taken her helmet off. Interestingly, when she had chances to, and then it makes more sense at the end when they're gonna approach the armorer, and he even says, maybe it's better if you left your helmet on, just to avoid problems. So I get why she would have her helmet on in that moment.
He wants to think she's like some moron because he hasn't noticed the fact that he hasn't made a mention at all about the fact she hasn't taken her helmet off. And it's like, hey, what would be a smart move? Not to take it off.
Yeah.
In front of them. It's like
what you're doing now, keep doing that.
Yeah, I forgot that I don't respect you. Hold on, let me prove it to you. Take the helmet off. Like, what she really should have done is, you're now one of us. You can say thank you, and then take it off.
Yeah. It's interesting, because the armor does say, you can leave whenever you want. I'm like, well, okay, well, that's kind of you, but I assume that means, and once you do, you're never invited back. But anyway.
Well, it means once you do, we'll ask you if you're taking your helmet off.
Yeah.
And then you could say yes. And then you could say, have you been to the waters on Mandalore? And you can say yes.
Yeah. In fact, I brought him with me.
Here's some water.
Look,
here it is.
in it.
Okay, you're good.
All fine.
See you later.
See you later. See you next time. So, interestingly, I guess viewership apparently is down for this season.
I hadn't heard that.
I guess the season premiere, episode 1, was down like 25% from the season premiere of season 2. And apparently,
what haven't they heard about Grogu using his force powers to eat candy?
I know it didn't track. And then this episode is apparently the lowest the lowest viewed episode of the series. So anyway, just interesting. Like, because I know you've been kind of meh about the series so far, and maybe we're seeing that manifesting itself in the general public. But you like this episode
maybe
better,
I mean, we've come to I did like it better. Yeah. I mean, because I was slightly interested, even though I mean, there are sort of structural problems with the whole.
Yeah, it is a structural. I would say that. I like this. It did feel more, akin to Andor in a way, right? In terms of like we're looking at the New Republic and the inner workings of it and how it works on a societal level. But it was such a jarring shift, right? I mean, we go there for about 40 minutes where we don't contact the A plot at all. And we're like, here.
I wasn't jarred.
Okay, you were not jarred. You didn't jar.
And nope. I was happy. Woo!
Yeah, no, but it was fascinating.
A nice
There's a lot to talk about.
roller coaster
So let's talk about Coruscant. So,
sure.
One of the things we see here is it's the New Republic amnesty program. So and it has its roots in real life. The U.S. Basically used former Nazi scientists in their Operation Paperclip, which was like hey, you can help our military and our rocket technology, Nazi scientists. So anyway,
well, having Nazi scientists help at NASA is a far cry from having them, catalog antiquity.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's like, you're really good at cloning. Well, what we're gonna do is have you do Excel charts on in other words, I agree. It's a big step down, And
I'm confused about, why do you have TED Talks for things that you're not going to pursue?
Right.
I don't understand that.
I was thinking the same thing.
When
when he gives his, as you say, TED Talk, I'm like, oh, okay, so he's the scientist who was not a bad guy, who was caught up in the Empire. Now he's making a new life post-Empire, and he's going to give his intellectual gifts to this new society. But no, it feels very punitive, really, right? These former Imperials, they have to go by numbers instead of names, like stormtroopers. They have to wear garb, like prison garb, essentially.
Mandatory robot counseling.
Yeah, they're a robot parole officer. I mean, the questions are so. Maybe the robot is sensing changes in blood. I don't know, but it's like, are you unhappy? No. Do you feel angry at the Republic? No. All right, bye. Okay. Are you lying to me?
Clear that this is written before ChatGPT.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Great point. But yeah, they're also restricted on where they can go, and of course, they're restricted on the work that they can do. They're given these menial tasks, essentially.
They're not allowed to touch icons and.
There's a tip of the mountain on Coruscant that you can't touch, and Elia Kane, is testing the waters of how far he's willing to break rules by saying, "Oh, you can go touch it if you want." Now, seeing the dejected Dr. Pershing working at this meaningless desk job reminded me a lot of Andor when you had, Cyril Karn, unenthusiastically working the meaningless desk job for the Empire. So I do feel like there's a lot of parallels that this show was showing between the current New Republic and what was the Empire during the Andor show.
I was hoping he was going to get a waffle party.
That's right. Combine it with Severance. He gets the disco dance party or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the most disturbing scenes from this whole series, but which also made me laugh, and maybe in an an ill-timed moment, is the torture scene at the end. I'll call it the torture scene. The preparation for the torture scene.
It's clear that they have not, done their, they're incompetent idiots. Where it's like, oh, let's use this weapon to torture, but we'll just write here in a page that you're not allowed to go above 2.
Yeah.
But, it's like, this one goes to 11. So
it has a dial that keeps going up.
Yeah,
why would you let it keep going up? Like, anyway, I mean, so it's
like, do you mind watching this while I go out?
I mean, and what makes it, there's this casualness, right, of what makes it so sinister. But also, Pershing realizes what this is before. He's like, no, look, this is a mind flayer, which is, Paul, it's an 8 hit dice monster in the Monster Manual, D&D, baby.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Illithid. I think there's a Stranger Things reference as well. But
Things? I see.
But in this case, it is a lobotomizing machine, essentially.
I see.
And so he's telling this Mon Calamari, look, this is you're going to be torturing me. And the Mon Calamari is so casual. He's just like, no, actually, it'll be fine. No, this is good for you, actually. Very soothing. You're like, what? Oh, God, it was just so creepy. And then, of course, the laugh moment is when Pershing tells this Mon Calamari, it was a trap! And you're like, oh, they did an Admiral Akbar with Pershing, which, anyway, but, so, you know what? I'm good with it. It was a solid callback, so I'll take it. Even though it broke the tension of this, like, really creepy-ass moment where the New Republic's just fine with lobotomizing former Empire guys. No, it's fine. No, you'll just forget
they should have information. Had a little musical interlude of the bar music from A New Hope. Just to lighten the mood there.
And also another scene that is indicative that the New Republic may not be that much better than the former Empire is where the rich guy is talking to Pershing after his TED talk, and he's like, "Oh, hey, I almost got drafted," and his wife's like, "No, that was the Empire," and he's like, "Oh, Empire, New Republic, whatever, they're all the same." So it's definitely attempting to show us that there's this institutional acceptance of the way things are that's kind of scary. Big question coming out of this, and I have a theory, but I'd like to hear your thoughts. Why did Elia Kane set up Pershing and then was sadistically upping the voltage on his mind flare?
Yeah, I was confused about that too. I've heard, at least on Nerdist, but I'm sure other people are speculating as well, that really it's an attempt to silence him. Because I guess they're concerned about, what they were doing, getting out, I guess.
I think I'm thinking that she's still working for Moff Gideon, who we heard is rumored to have escaped imprisonment, which means he's escaped imprisonment. I hear tell the main villain of the show escaped. He escaped. And I'm guessing that either it's like Gideon just doesn't want his cloning tech info to fall into New Republic hands, but if he had Pershing, say, assassinated, it might reveal their little secret cabal, and so it's instead Kane is arranging for Pershing to get arrested, which then kind of assures that the authorities will do the work for them as opposed to them having to do something. The other thing might be that Pershing knows something, has some kind of, more than just the information about cloning. Maybe he knows something about Gideon himself or something, that would be helpful to the New Republic in opposing Gideon in some way in the future. So they're like, all right, get rid of loose ends. Maybe.
In order for me to feel better about that decision, I'll need to see how that plays out, because at the moment it almost makes you wonder if it isn't for nothing.
Yeah, like for instance, is he now just an idiot? And in other words, is that the end of his story? If so, that would be kind of a whole waste of time. So I feel like there's more to his story. In other words, is this Elia Kane's, arrival on the scene in some ways? I mean, we saw her briefly in season 2, but is this kind of like, oh, we're supposed to focus on her now? Or is Pershing's story still to be told? Like, for instance, maybe, I'll throw this out, maybe our heroes realize, oh, Dr. Pershing, who's now with the New Republic, would have some answers, now that everybody realizes that Gideon has escaped. Oh, he can help us. They go to him, he has no memory of anything, he has amnesia or whatever, and maybe it's up to Grogu to use Jedi powers to help him remember. I don't know, something like that.
Well, thank you for finding a way for me to hate it.
Well, how would you like it? Let's put it that way. What storyline from here would you be like, excellent?
I can't think of anything. I'm not saying that it that would be bad necessarily. I guess if we don't ever see him again, then that's fine. Or if it's not through his mind that we gain information, then okay.
I don't think this is just a slice of life on Coruscant. This has a purpose.
Oh no, but if it's sort of like we went to get information from him and he's messed up. Oh yeah, well, right. Just sort of like, oh, I want a robot. I want this robot. I can't have another one. Oh no, I can.
Oh, actually, I'm fine with droids. Yeah. I'm fine with the R5 droid is still weird. Agreed.
Yeah. So if they're like, oh, we must seek Dr. Pershing, you're like, oh no, he doesn't have the information. Oh, here's my friend who was with me. Oh, okay.
By
good.
the way, there's actually a friend of his who knows exactly what he knew. That's great. The TED Talk you were mentioning, I think it pushes more kind of confirming the idea that the reason he wanted Grogu so badly, he talks about, I can splice different people's DNA together. So in other words, hey, I can make soldiers force sensitive if I can, stick this piece of Yoda DNA on them. So I think that's certainly seems to be where that's going. Also, we got the rise of the First Order. Maybe this is kind of the origin of that. Where it's percolating. Gideon's going to be maybe a part of that. I think Gideon will. I think he's still going to be the bad guy for. If I had to guess, this season he's going to show up. He has escaped. He's been doing, like, for instance, he was probably having Bo-Katan watched. And so, like, hey, if she ever travels to Mandalore, kill her. I don't know. Why did the TIE fighters suddenly show up when she took off from Mandalore? They didn't bomb her before then. Like, in other words, she went to Mandalore, which means she's going to try to get the other Mandalorians to return to their homeworld. We don't want that. She's forced our hand. Let's kill her off.
Maybe it's as simple as there's a sensor on her throne. And when she gets off and gets too far, it's like, bomb it!
Zero weight now. Anyway, but it is, obviously interesting that it was essentially an army. I mean, it was like a large number of TIE fighters and then bombers. And then that was supported by another fleet. It was like, oh, wow. Okay. It's interesting that they can throw that much weight around, and I assume that group is connected to Gideon in some way. So they obviously have resources.
That seems a safe bet.
And that spaceship fight sequence, obviously, again, very, very cool. I
it was good.
The drama of it, how it was up in space, then it's down on the planet, then there was a lot going on, and we have Din getting in his ship. Anyways, there were a lot of moving parts, so to speak, in that. So well played action scene. I also thought there was a little giveaway to Elia Kane's intentions when they were holding those little glowy popsicles, and hers is a red glowing thing. I'm like, she's got the red lightsaber. Red lightsaber equals evil. An interesting departure for this show. It served to kind of break up the narrative a bit, but in an interesting way, and I was good with it.
It's interesting how they make us sympathize with Pershing's motivations for what he's doing because of his mother, and if only he wants to use cloning. for if we can make organs,
Medical
but he doesn't
research.
want to stop there. He's trying to he's perfectly down to combining qualities, which sounds like eugenics.
He's still operating on Grogu kind of against his will, right? I mean, he was like, hold the baby down.
Right.
I mean, he was being nice-ish, nicer than the others, but he was still like, oh yeah, but in the interest of science, let's whatever. So yeah, he's not like an angel. I appreciated the fact that they led him down a path, or Elia, let's say, leads him down a path that I could see him following, right? Look, you're actually helping the New Republic. He asks that stupid parole droid, well, what, is it the most important thing to help the Republic? And the droid's like, yep, that supersedes everything. Oh, well, great, thanks. You just gave me permission to break your silly laws and go and, for the good of the Republic, I'm going to go back to my cloning experiments. So anyway, I thought it actually pushed him along in that way, that I thought in a believable way that he might actually do that. Now, jumping off of that train, I don't know that they come through unscathed, but whatever.
Puts up a false idea about science and how we have to constrain it. It's like certainly the people who would pervert what he does to do these terrible things. And I guess you can judge, the fact that he was taking the blood of Grogu, but, they have a similar, I haven't watched it, and that's partly the reason why, putting science into a corner in The Last of Us, where it's like, oh, we have to kill her in order to get this thing. And, of course, scientists are like, they don't really have to kill the kid in order to get this information. It's sort of like, well, okay, but that's the story we want to tell. Basically, it's, this sort of fears about what science can do. And that's why I love
sci-fi, right? I mean, it's
it is. It's a trope of stuff. That's why it's like, okay, sure. The only way to learn about Grogu is to kill him. Okay.
Where do you foresee our next few episodes going, good sir? He's kind of like wrapped up his latest quest. Obviously, uniting the different clans is going to happen over time here.
I would think, or at least getting close to it. I mean, I would think that Bo-Katan is going to want to try to do something with the mythosaur, and
it's weird. Like in the trailers, we've seen shots, and I'm not 100% sure it's Navarro, Grief Karga's place, but it seems like there's a fairly, a big action scene where Mandalorians are airdropping into Navarro and like taking guys out, and so you're like, okay, maybe Navarro gets under attack from Moff Gideon. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know, but somehow I feel like I think Moff Gideon is going to raise his head in the next episode, and we'll be like, our villain has been, resurrected and is now back for the last half of this season. That's my
yeah, and I like
Moff Gideon.
I like that actor, but they actually haven't done much to make me actually interested in that villain.
I got you.
So
yeah.
Hopefully they'll do more, but just to the extent that actually, there's not much difference between him and, you only end up seeing these guys at the very end.
Right.
It's like,
right.
I'll fight you then. It's like, okay, you gotta have more extended interaction with these villains.
I will say one possible little conflict we might see is so Jon Favreau is playing that character, the Mandalorian character, I think it's Paz Vizsla. He's one of the Death Watch guys. And so he's just been, he's just met up with Bo-Katan, and now everybody's accepted Bo-Katan into the group, and, hey, hugs around. Well,
yeah.
Bo-Katan's past is that she was like the second in command to a relative of his.
Pre-Vizsla.
I don't know what relation that guy is to to
Yeah.
Jon Favreau's character, but he's obviously in the family. And then
Uh-huh.
they were opposed to each other. It became a big thing. Like, he might not appreciate her being around, is my point.
Oh,
and
okay.
So there could be a big conflict there with, like, hey, your family and my family, I get it. Oh, great, you got your helmet on, but I hate you and don't want to have anything to do with you. So I don't know. Maybe we see something about that. Family only goes so far, man. Helmets are thicker than blood. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Not particularly excited by that, but maybe I'll be turned around.
No, because I feel like there's a unification.
You might be right. You might be. There should be some difficulties to it, but it shouldn't be just them singing "Kumbaya," whatever the Mandalorian's equivalent of that
Mandalorian
is. So.
Kumbaya.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, so we'll be back talking about episode 4. So thank you as always, Paul. Appreciate it, good sir.
Oh, sure.
And we'll talk to everybody next time. Bye.
Bye.
Grand Moff got run over by a reindeer. Okay.